Good evening, Geometry. It's Mr. Lamb. It's almost 7 o'clock. I told you I'd try to have these videos up by 7, but the snow and everything going on out there, I'm getting a little bit of a late start, so I do apologize for that. So I will try to get these videos done as quick as possible. That way I can get them uploaded and into Canvas as quickly as possible. So I'm going to jump right into question number 1 on the Unit 6 test review. And I'm actually going to do both all 3 questions, 1, 2, and 3, because they all deal with the same 2 points. Point A is at 1, 3. B is at 7, -5. So you do see the little graph down here. I'm going to go ahead and graph those 2 points first. So I'm looking for the point 1, 3, so that is to the right 1 and up 3. And B is right 7 and down 5. So this is point A on this side, and this is B down here in this lower corner. So I can make this a segment if I would like. All right, so as I do number 1, it says find the slope. If you want to use the picture and just do the counting down and over from A to B, you'll see it goes down and then it goes to the right. So I should know that the slope is negative. I'm actually going to use the equation. So the equation for slope is equal to the change in y, so y2 minus y1 over the change in x, which is x2 minus x1. And again, it does not matter which point you're calling point 2 and which one you're calling point 1. I like to work left to right. So this is m is slope. So my y value here is 3 for the first point and -5 for the second point. So I have 3 minus -5. And on the bottom, I have an x value of 1 minus the x value of 7. And 3 minus -5 is the same thing as 3 plus 5. So that is 8. And 1 minus 7 is -6. Simplifying this, I have a positive divided by a negative, so my answer is going to be negative. And 8 and 6 are both divisible by 2, so 4 over 3. So the slope is -4/3. That is my final answer. Question number 2 wants the midpoint. So the midpoint, that means this point is going to be some x value and some y value. It is a point, midpoint. So it is some x value and some y value. Okay, to find the x value, I'm actually going to find the average of the x's, which means add them up and divide by 2. So my x values are still marked up here. You'll see the x values are 1 and 7. So I'll add them up and divide by 2. 1 plus 7 is 8. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that is my x value for the midpoint. It is 4. To find the y value, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find the average of my 2 y's. So I'm going to add them up. 3 and -5. So 3 plus -5, and then divide by 2. Well, 3 plus -5 is -2. Divided by 2 is -1. So the midpoint is 4, -1. And then for part 3, it says find the distance between those two. I like to use, and I could use the formula that d is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. If I would like, that's not my style. My style is to make this triangle. And I just count, so A is going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can see that's part of my slope. There's that 6, and it's going down 8. Again, that's part of my slope, that down 8, right 6 kind of thing. So to find the distance, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 6 squared plus 8 squared is equal to the distance squared. We call this Pythagorean theorem. 6 squared is 36, 8 squared is 64. That is equal to d squared. 36 plus 64 is 100. That is d squared. To find d, I have to do the square root. So d, the distance, is the square root of 100, which that simplifies to 10. So my distance between those 2 points is 10. As I jump down here to question 4 and 5, it says determine algebraically if AB and CD are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. All right, so parallel, I'm looking for slopes that are the same. Perpendicular, I'm looking for opposite reciprocals. And neither is if neither one, parallel nor perpendicular, are correct. Then it is obviously neither. So I am checking for 2 segments. The first segment is AB. And I'm just going to find the slope. So the slope, y2 minus y1. Those are my 2 y's. So -4 minus 3 over top of my x's, 1 minus 4. When you're finding slope, it is a subtraction in the middle. So -4 minus 3 is -7. 1 minus 4 is -3. -7 over -3 reduces to just 7/3. All right, for CD, slope, again, it's the y's over the x's. So -4 minus 3, and then -3 minus 0. So -4 minus 3 is -7. -3 minus 0 is -3, which reduces to 7/3. So as I look at these 2 values, I see that AB has a slope of 7/3, CD has a slope of 7/3. They are the same. These 2 are parallel. Again, on the test, I will be counting work for finding those 2 slopes. All right, finding the slopes is probably the most important thing that you're going to do there. All right, for number 5, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with AB. Okay, you'll notice that A and B, as I look at my 2 points, they're way out here now. That's A and B. So my slope are, again, my y values, 2 minus -4. And then my x values are 5 minus 3. 2 minus -4 is the same as 2 plus 4, which is 6. 5 minus 3 is 2. That reduces to 3/1. And then for CD, my y values. All right, so for C and D, my y values are -1 minus -2. My x values are -1 minus +2. -1 minus -2 is the same as -1 plus 2, which is 1. And -1 minus 2 is -3. So that is -1/3. So as I compare these 2 slopes, one of them is +3/1. The other one is -1/3. Those are opposite reciprocals. These 2 lines are perpendicular. They are perpendicular to one another. My last problem on the first page is question number 6. Determine the equation of a line. All right, this is y equals mx plus b. Remember, we use this quite a bit. I'm going to have to find m and I have to find b. So determine the equation of a line that is parallel. That means same slope. So parallel to the line y equals 1/4x minus 12. Well, this line has a slope of 1/4. So I know the m. The slope is going to be 1/4. Parallel, same slope. And then it tells me it goes through the point -3, 4. So I'm going to use that to find my b value. So what is b? Well, I know an x value is -3. I know my y value is 4. And I know my m is 1/4. So using y equals mx plus b, 4 is equal to 1/4 times the x value, which is -3, plus b. 1/4 times -3 is -3/4 plus b. And then to get b by itself, I have to add 3/4 to both sides. 4 plus 3/4 is 19/4. That is what b is equal to. Now, some of you may have put that into a decimal and got 4.75. I like fractions. If my slope is a fraction, I like my y-intercept to be a fraction. I don't like mixing fractions with decimals. So my equation right here, y equals mx plus b. Y equals, the slope is 1/4 x plus the b value, which is 19/4. That is the equation of a line. When you find the equation of a line, you must have a y value, a y and an x variable both in that equation. So do not make the mistake. I keep seeing this over and over, where people want to put that -3 back into the final equation. That is not the case. That equation must have a y variable and an x variable. The only two things you're trying to find are m and b. And we're going to see that several more times as we move forward in this key.